Japan, land of the rising sun, with its panoramas forged by volcanoes and tradition, is a mighty international economic power. In the far north, Hokkaido, one of the 4 large islands of the archipelago, the sacred land of the Ainu people, is a vast natural paradise. The journey between earth and sky, volcanoes and clear lakes, tells the unique story of people who live at one with nature.
Japan is a country in East Asia consisting of nearly 7,000 islands, of which only about 430 are inhabited. Japan is located in the Pacific Ocean, not far from the northeastern coastline of continental Asia. It lies to the east of the Sea of Japan, also called the East Sea, as well as the East China Sea. The nations of Russia, South Korea, North Korea, and China are to its west on the mainland of Asia. The Japanese archipelago stretches over 1,500 miles from the Russian island of Sakhalin and the Sea of Okhotsk in the north, and almost to the nation of Taiwan in the south. Japan's 4 largest islands are Hokkaido, Honshu, Kyushu, and Shikoku, which together make up about 97% of its total land area. Japan is home to 126 million people, the world's 10th largest country, and one of the world's most densely populated as well. Tokyo, the largest Japanese city, along with its surrounding communities, constitute what is currently the largest urbanized area on Earth and is home to 37.8 million inhabitants. Tokyo is also the nation's capital city. Japan is a highly industrialized manufacturing country and possesses the world's 3rd largest economy after China. The overall life expectancy in Japan is 84 years, the highest in the entire world. About 3/4 of the territory of Japan is mountainous, forested, and not well suited for either building or for farming. So most of Japan's population lives on the flatter lands nearer its coastal areas. And that's where the majority of its farms are located too. Japan has 108 active volcanoes, the most famous of which is Mount Fuji, seen here. It's the country's highest mountain and last erupted a little over 300 years ago. Japan's volcanic activity is mainly due to the fact that the Pacific and Philippine tectonic plates are being forced under the Eurasian tectonic plate by a geological process known as subduction, which produces intense heat and pressure below the surface. Around 15 million years ago, the subduction process actually caused the land that now makes up Japan to break away from the Asian mainland, which created the Sea of Japan in the process. Due to its ongoing tectonic activity, Japan is extremely prone to violent earthquakes and destructive tsunamis, both of which impact the country fairly frequently. The images seen here show some of the effects of these terrible natural disasters. The climate of most of Japan is temperate, with 4 distinct seasons. But weather patterns change significantly from its extreme north to its extreme south. For example, the northernmost Japanese island of Hokkaido experiences a moist continental climate, with warm summers and long, cold winters. A little further south on Honshu Island, a snowy winter day is a good time to see red-faced Japanese macaques warming themselves in the local hot springs. In contrast to its cooler northern parts, the islands of southernmost Japan have a subtropical climate, with warm winters and hot summers. The main rainy season begins in early May in the south of Japan, and the rainy weather tends to gradually move northward until reaching Hokkaido in late July.
The Shinkansen, or bullet train, as they are often known, are the high-speed rail trains that run across Japan. The 2,387 kilometers of 8 Shinkansen lines run on completely separate lines from the commuting train counterparts, with a few exceptions. Shinkansen take up a large portion of the long-distance travel in Japan, with the whole system carrying over 10 billion passengers in its lifetime. In 2013, Japan had 98 airports. The main international gateways are Narita International Airport, Tokyo area, Kansai International Airport, Osaka, Kobe and Kyoto area, and Tsubu Central International Airport, Nagoya area. The main domestic hub is Tokyo International Airport, Haneda Airport.
Located on a bay and Heian River has convenient transportation routes, Tokyo has a few ferry companies that tourists may find useful. The water bus services are an enjoyable alternative to trains or subways.
Companies including the GR Bus companies operate long-distance bus services on the nation's expanding expressway network.
The culture of Japan has changed greatly over the millennia, from the country's prehistoric German period to its contemporary modern culture, which absorbed influences from Asia, Europe, and North America. Strong 9,000-year-old ancient Han Chinese culture influences, including the 8,000-year-old ancient Han Chinese writing script, are still evident in traditional Japanese culture, as China had historically been a global superpower, which has resulted in Japan absorbing many elements of ancient Han Chinese culture, first through what as the Imperial Chinese tributary vassal state of Korea.
Following decades of speculation about its aging population and low birth rate, Japan released an official census to show her decreasing population in 2015. Now, in 2018, the population seems to continue to decrease. A census in 2010 counted the population at 128 million. This figure is also Japan's peak population figure. It has never risen above this number. In 2015, the population was 127 million, making the country the 10th most populous country at the time. The latest count, according to Worldometers.com, is 127,159,185. In 8 years, the population has shrunk by almost 1 million people. This is the first time in the country's history that the population has shrunk. The figures around the Second World War show a decrease, but this is mainly due to the displacement of men stationed abroad on military duties during those years. There seem to be 3 main reasons behind Japan's decrease in people. Firstly, Japan's birth rate has dropped considerably. Secondly, the country has little in the way of immigration to make up that deficit. And thirdly, Japan has one of the highest life expectancy rates in the world. If you are born in Japan, you can be expected to live to the ripe old age of 85 years, according to 2016 statistics. So less people are being born, people are generally living longer, and not many people from outside countries migrate to Japan. Japan has a population density in 2011 of 336 people per square mile. It ranks as the 35th most densely populated country in the world. 75% of Japan's land is made up of mountains, with a forest cover range of 68.5%. Therefore, 90.7% of Japanese people live in the cities. 2012 data recorded by the National Institute of Population and Social Security Research indicates that Japan will keep decreasing by approximately 1 million each year in the approaching decades, leaving Japan with a population of 42 million in the year 2110. In 2060, they have predicted that 40% of the population will be aged over 65 years. Currently, 20% of the population are aged 65 and older. So, Japan is set to become a country for old men and women. For a country to sustain growth, a birth rate of 2.1 is required, but Japan's birth rate stands at about 1.4. So why aren't Japanese people having children? Well, a 2013 survey suggested that 1/3 of Japanese people don't see the point of marrying and having children. Historically, marriage has been encouraged. Recently, however, the country has experienced a shift in social standards, with more and more singletons choosing to remain that way.
In conclusion, Japan is a nation that is primarily in the information age. The Japanese government believes in sharing advanced medical technology with its general population to prolong their lives, which in turn lengthens their time to help produce for the nation. In the area of economics, Japan's results speak for themselves. They went a non-factor nation to an economic world leader in a short amount of time. In the area of education, Japan continues to move forward. They take education extremely serious because it is the foundation for your future success in your career, socially, and life. Japan is a strong nation of team players who are all on the same page. Many nations could learn a lot from the Japanese, and the US is definitely one of them.